Welcome to Awakening Heaven on Earth. Before we begin, take a moment to arrive. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to believe, and nowhere you need to go. Simply listen, contemplate, and notice what stirs and resonates within you. This is a shared space of reflection, presence, and remembrance. Now, let us begin. Welcome to this episode focused on Lead with Love, Unity in Leadership, Sacred Text References. In this episode, we listen to sacred wisdom from traditions across the world, asking what it means to lead with love, humility, service, and unity. We receive each teaching in the spirit of lectio divina, listening deeply, reflecting honestly, and allowing the wisdom to become embodied leadership. Let us begin. We begin with Christianity in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20, verses 26 through 28. Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. First, receive these words slowly. This teaching turns worldly leadership upside down. Greatness is not found in dominance, position, or praise, but in service. Now, let this teaching become personal. Where am I being invited to release the need to be above others and choose instead to serve beside them? And now, let the heart respond. May I lead through service, not status, and may my influence become a blessing to the whole. We now turn to Judaism in the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 14. Where there is no guidance, a people fall, but in an abundance of counselors there is safety. First, receive these words slowly. Sacred leadership does not pretend to see alone. It welcomes counsel, listens for wisdom, and honors the safety that comes through shared discernment. Now let this teaching become personal. Where do I need to seek wise counsel rather than relying only on my own perspective? And now let the heart respond. May I lead with humility, listen before deciding, and remember that wisdom often arrives through many voices. We now receive wisdom from Islam, from the Hadith, Sahih al-Bukhari, 893. Each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock. First, receive these words slowly. This teaching reminds us that leadership is not limited to titles. Every person carries responsibility for the people, places, and relationships entrusted to their care. Now let this teaching become personal. Who or what has been entrusted to my care, and how can I shepherd them with greater tenderness and responsibility? And now let the heart respond. May I guard what is sacred, guide with compassion, and care for those entrusted to me with love. We now turn to Buddhism in the Dhammapada, verse 212. Victory breeds hatred. The defeated live in pain. Happily, the peaceful live, giving up victory and defeat. First, receive these words slowly. Leadership rooted in ego seeks victory over others. Leadership rooted in peace seeks healing for the whole. Now let this teaching become personal. Where am I still trying to win when love is asking me to heal? And now, let the heart respond. May I release the need to defeat others, and may my leadership create peace rather than pain. We now receive wisdom from Hinduism in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 19. Therefore, always perform your duty without attachment. By doing work without attachment, one attains the supreme. First, receive these words slowly. Sacred leadership acts faithfully without clinging to praise, control, or outcome. It serves because service is right, not because reward is guaranteed. Now let this teaching become personal. Where am I being invited to serve with devotion while releasing attachment to recognition or result? And now let the heart respond. May I do the work that is mine to do with a tranquil heart, a clear mind, and a spirit of offering. We now turn to Taoism and the leadership wisdom of the Tao Te Ching. A leader is best when people barely know they exist. When the work is done, the people say, "We did it ourselves." First, receive these words slowly. The Tao teaches leadership without domination. The highest leader does not create dependence, but awakens participation, trust, and shared power. Now, let this teaching become personal. Where can I lead with less control and more trust, making room for others to rise? And now, let the heart respond. May I lead quietly, serve humbly, and help others remember their own strength. We return to Christianity, the Gospel of John, chapter 13, and the image of Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. First, receive this image slowly. The teacher kneels. The master serves. The one with authority takes the lowest place and turns power into tenderness. Now, let this teaching become personal. Where is love asking me to kneel in humility, serve without pride, and honor the dignity of those I lead. And now let the heart respond. May my leadership be cleansed of pride, and may my service become a visible sign of love. We now receive Confucian wisdom from the Analects, where leadership is rooted in virtue and moral example. First, receive the wisdom slowly. The noble leader does not merely enforce order from the outside, but cultivates virtue within, becoming a steady center that helps others find their way. Now let this teaching become personal. What kind of presence am I becoming, and what does my example silently teach others? And now let the heart respond. May I lead by character, not appearance, and may my life quietly point others toward wisdom. We now turn to Sikh wisdom and the sacred call to recognize the whole human race as one. First, receive the words slowly. Leadership rooted in unity does not divide people into higher and lower, worthy and unworthy, powerful and expendable. It recognizes one human family. Now let this teaching become personal. Do my words, decisions, and leadership honor the dignity of every person, or do they preserve separation? And now let the heart respond. May I hold no one beneath me, exalt no one above me, and lead as one member of the sacred human family. We now receive Indigenous wisdom through the sacred teaching of responsibility to the circle of life. First, receive the wisdom slowly. A true leader does not think only of the self, the present moment, or personal gain. A true leader listens to the ancestors, protects the vulnerable, honors the earth, and considers those yet to come. Now let this teaching become personal. How would my leadership change if every choice were made with future generations in mind? And now let the heart respond. May I lead as a steward, not an owner, and may my choices bless those who will inherit what I leave behind. As these sacred teachings come together, one truth becomes clear. Leadership is not domination. Leadership is service. Leadership is not control. Leadership is care. Leadership is not the hunger to be followed. Leadership is the willingness to help others rise. The true leader listens before speaking. The true leader serves before seeking praise. The true leader guides without diminishing. The true leader carries power as presence. the presence of love in action. So pause gently. Let these sacred teachings ask their questions within you. Where are you being called to lead through service? Where are you being called to listen more deeply? Where are you being called to release control? Where are you being called to awaken the gifts of others? Where are you being called to become a shepherd, not a master? You do not need a title to lead with love. You do not need a platform to serve the whole. You do not need a crown to carry light. You lead through presence. You lead through listening. You lead through humility. You lead through courage. You lead by awakening the light in others. This is sacred leadership. This is the way of the shepherd. This is how power becomes service. And this is how unity takes form in the world. As we come to a close, remember that this journey continues in many expressions. This podcast is part of a family of partner podcasts. Awakening Heaven on Earth. The space between heaven and earth and Living Heaven on Earth are 3 companion podcasts exploring spiritual awakening from complementary perspectives. Awakening Heaven on Earth offers the core teachings and mystical reflections on unity, love, and conscious living. The space between creates room for dialogue, reflection, and lived conversation around those teachings. Living Heaven on Earth focuses on basic spiritual practices that help embody these insights in daily life. Together, they form a unified journey of understanding, experience, and integration, inviting listeners to remember their connection with the divine, with one another, and with the living world. You can find all of them available on the same podcast streaming platforms wherever you listen. And if music helps carry these teachings deeper into the heart, the Unity, Awakening Heaven on Earth album is available on all major music streaming services as a musical companion to this journey. Wherever you engage, through listening, reflection, conversation, or music, may it gently remind you you are not separate. You belong to the one life, and heaven is already unfolding within you. Until next time, walk gently, love deeply, and embody heaven on earth.